What's up, 252?
Hey, James.
Yeah, did you need something?
Yeah, I have your Toby and Molly Jones here waiting for you here
Alright, have you seen Travis?
in the lobby. No, I haven't seen Travis. I just got to MRPD lobby.
Can you go down by the... or, hold on, I'll be right there.
I'm just with them.
I'll be right there, just make small talk. Travis, you back? Well, we'll see how this goes. Travis, when you're back, let me know. How's it going?
I will see you in a little while. Do you want me to say anything to
Hello,
your
Jesse.
to your blade? Yeah, I will tell her then. Are you dating someone from a pizza place?
Sorry, what?
There's a pizza place in Little Seoul called I can't remember what it's called. But basically, there's someone there who's bragging that he stayed in the hardest cup in the whole of Los Santos, and I just assumed that was you.
Yeah, I
Flatty
don't
would get you everywhere.
I'm thinking. I'm just passing on the message.
Alright, cool. Yeah, I'm not dating
It's
anybody
very
to
nice
pizza
meet
shop
you,
last name.
officer. Okay, I will pass it on that person is a big fat liar.
Yeah, I don't know any pizza shop
We don't like no
boys.
liars here. This is a truth only building. Isn't that right, officer?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's what we try to go for, isn't
Who
it?
is this guy?
Phil, if we can just
I
be...
certainly hope so, or I'm screwed.
Alright, cool. Sorry about that. I've had a headache. So everything just stopped for a minute. Yes, we don't. We would just like honesty, cut through all the bullshit, and we'll just get to the end of it, right? That's the way it goes. I mean, in a polite way, we say, let's just tell the truth. Yeah. Yeah, butts are alright. Alright, cool. Gotcha. Wenzel said that. Is he your nephew? Yeah, I told him earlier that I thought they were a bunch of perverts. But Wenzel was trying to say some shit. Yeah, I get you. Alright, cool. Yeah, so I've got different questionings for the both of you. Or, like I said, like obviously I called you Miss Jones. And then Mr. Carburetor, but you guys, since you're rolling together, you came down together. So, Travis, I don't know if you've met Officer Travis Scott. I don't know if you met him. He's a pretty cool guy. He works at the hunting shack sometimes, so a lot of people have gotten to meet him. So, but he's... Yes, he worked at Tuner Shop for a while. Yeah, I like Travis. He's a good one. He's a good friend of mine. He's going to be joining us, so I think he's actually going to ask you your questions, Mr. Carburetor. So I'm just waiting for him to get back, but... Yeah, I get you. So we're going to go downstairs. Bane's just going to walk with me to get you down to the rooms. Should be good now. Yeah,
Alright,
yeah,
you
probably,
give me
probably
over that
not.
bang, is it?
You paid me hush money, didn't you? Bobby.
Yes, yeah. I've got it.
You should be able to hear them now.
Hey, it's all good. Lead the way. Take me to your leader.
All right. Before I take you back there and stuff, I'm asking for you to relinquish or any weapons that you have on your person. Do you have any
Okay,
weapons
I've
on your
got-
person?
Yeah, do you want me to put it in the car?
If you'd rather, I mean, like, if you're more comfortable putting it in the car, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll hold on to them. It's up to you guys.
Hey, Molly, can you
I'll give
unlock
you
your car so I can put it in?
Oh, okay. Let me give you mine. It's just a bat and the unloaded gun.
All right, fair enough. I think
All right,
I've held these
okay.
once or twice already.
I think only once.
Yeah, only once.
Hey, 2 seconds.
All right, let me unlock this car.
How's it going,
Just to
Arthur?
let
How's
you
it
know,
going, Sid?
Toby does have an active one.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
Warrant for questioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just done it as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
it's all right. Are you not confident in your reports anymore, or do you have issues? Or are you struggling with your reports? I know that every time you put in a report nowadays, you kind of ask a lot of superior officers their opinions. So
No, I don't have problem. So
Sorry for the wait.
I'm confident.
I'm
It's
waiting.
just basically I am trying to not screw anything up. Like I just want
that's all right.
100%.
Oh, actually, I've got a
100%.
couple crowbars on me. Do you want these?
Yeah, if you want to hand them to me, or you can put them in the car. One of the two.
I'm selling them. You want them?
Maybe I'll buy one later. Maybe we'll get through the questions
Yeah,
first.
that sounds good. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, if you guys want to come down here, Bane, if you just walk down with us, and then we'll put them in the rooms, and then you
Mind
can
the sledgehammer, don't trip.
should go.
It's aliens. Oh, thank you.
There you go. Sweet. We're gonna go downstairs. What's with the one glove, Mr. Carburetor?
Oh, I have a
Oh,
story
that's a
about that for
long
you.
story.
Are
Oh.
you sure you want to hear it?
I mean, I feel like now you piqued my curiosity. We'll be going downstairs.
So I have this beautiful wife, right? And
Okay.
I found her in a stripper
Very
joint.
gentlemanly.
So I was thinking she was used to stuff the hand, so to speak, touching her. So I figured, right?
Yeah.
I should do something about that to make my touch feel like it's even minded.
Okay. All right, I'm following.
So what I did, I went to a racing store, and I got me a racing glove. I filled it with Vaseline and aloe vera, and I wear it every day, 24 hours a day. I never take it off, not even for me. I wore it
Wow.
for 3 months, 2 days, 5 hours, and 24 minutes now. I think my wife's gonna be real pleased, don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
That's going to be a very soft hand.
to me, that sounds like a lot of commitment for the woman you love. So, yeah, I don't see how she couldn't be pleased.
You understand?
It's a lot of effort, and let me tell
We
you, there's a
got
lot of
this.
men that put in next to none. So I feel you're probably leagues ahead.
Well, that and it makes my hand feel
Right.
tingly. I like it.
Or Molly. Yeah, well, I mean,
Well, it's been burning for the past month and a half, but it's okay. I will put up with the pain for my wife.
yeah, I mean, you know, sacrificing pain and all that, and you're working hard. So I feel like you're only going to get points with your wife. But I don't know her, but it sounds like you're only going to get points. Good points. All right, cool. If you
points.
come down here, I'll put you in this room, Mr. Carburetor.
Hey, that's me. That's Tony.
There you go. All right, if you just have a seat.
Oh, I remember this room.
Oh, yeah? You've been in here?
Hey, you put me in here once upon a time.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think it was you anyway.
I'm not sure. All right, I'll be back with you in just a moment, or Travis will, all right?
Hey, that's all good. You take your time.
Thank you.
I need to put one of my names on one of these offices. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the detectives are looking for an office, so if you want to invest, I'm sure we can definitely have a Molly Jones interrogation room, if you'd like. There you go, just this way, Miss Jones.
Thank you.
If you just have a sit down, I'm gonna go see if Travis is back around, and then that way.
Okay. What side do you want me to sit?
If
Any
on this side over here. Sorry, this side.
This
over
side,
here.
yeah. Okay.
And I'll be back with you in just a moment. Try to be as quick as I can.
Okay.
You right, Bane?
Yeah.
Are you back, Travis? Nah, he's not back. Okie dokie. Just chilling. Good. I can go get a drink real quick. I can get a drink. Be right back. This moment. All right, I'm back. Very nice car. Into this world, what did I do right? Oh, man. Okay. A lot going on here. It's PDE something. PDE something, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Hmm. What's up? Hey, everyone. Hey. Bet you're well. Oh, you bitch. Let me tell you. I pulled in and I saw that truck pull out. OOC, obviously. I knew it was up. But in character, Jesse was just like, fucking Evron. And then after you left, it clicked in my head that that was Molly there. And I was thinking, looks exactly like how Hugsy had his. Fucker. So, yep, so that's why Miss Molly is here. Because James is a good detective. Tony's here for original questioning, as well as I didn't even know he had a different warrant out. I know it's identical. I have a very good memory, and so does Jane's. Yeah, I saw it tuners. Yeah, it was me. I didn't know, like, legitimately, I actually didn't see the driver. Because when you were pulling out, which I'm assuming you were the driver, when you were pulling out the pure black window tints and the thing of the windshield, it covered who you were. But Molly stuck out. Like, I know Molly, and it was like a clear window to see what Molly looked like.
Right, bye.
Cool. If you pull up incident, it'll say warrant for Toby Carburetor. Those questions there are what you need to ask Tony about that.
Right, got that.
So you need to ask him those questions. It seems like he was skinny dipping and he had left his clothes and wallet and everything by the docks. And I think what he told me on the phone earlier is that somebody picked them up. So he's missing his gun or something like that. Not sure. So I guess you can say that.
Right.
And then secondly, if you look at report 193, you'll see that when it comes to the questions that we've asked the other individuals, which don't edit the report at all, but if you look at that, you'll see that we've asked them 4 questions, which was in their entirety of being imprisoned, have you visited Claggy Jones, Glenn Morgan, or Hugsy Jones in prison? When was the last time you spoke to them? And you can go ahead and ask them, do you know their whereabouts at this moment? I think tonight the cat's out of the bag. I'm not afraid to tell them tonight that we know they're out. Like, I mean, we've known it. It's been there. They are out. They are escaped. But
Man, it's not going to come to a surprise to them, is it?
yeah, no, it won't come to a surprise, or maybe it will. Maybe they'll act hella surprised. I don't fucking know. And if he knows where their whereabouts are at all. And then the final question, or maybe before you ask that question, is you need to ask his whereabouts on Sunday, Sunday the 6th. So last Sunday between the hours of 7:30 and 9:30 at night. Oh my God. It was so awkward and funny. I didn't know what he was on about when I was sitting there. He was just saying the most awkward shit, which was funny. The whole Jesse tattoo thing, I was just like, what is he fucking on about? And he did that. To be honest, I would have said yes just purely to tattoo anything on him. So
These guys on the way, or they're over here?
they're here. So Tony's on the right and
Okay.
she's in the middle. So if you want to go with Tony, I don't know if
Gotcha.
Bane's going to want to watch you in the observatory or what. 243 is going to switch to 4 for interrogation. Bane, if you want to go down to observatory 2, and you can watch Travis. We're on radio 4. You can watch Travis interrogate Tony. If you need to put anything or communicate anything to Travis, you can put in a 311. But otherwise, just let Travis go for it. I've already kind of talked to Tony.
I was just standing here, just making sure they don't need anything, like if they need water or food.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, make sure Tony has food and water before you start, Travis. So if you'll go into the 3rd door on the left, you'll be observing Mr. Carburetor and Travis. Okay.
Okay.
But those are the questions and everything, so.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, I went back and saw like little bits of it, and then because in the chat, I didn't realize that you guys were redeeming anything. I just thought you were just giving him stuff to do and he was just doing it. It was so funny though. Like when he said, I want to ask you on a date, when he was saying it like he was pretending he was hurt. And then she went, what? And he was just like, nothing, never mind. And then I saw you guys kept redeeming. It was cracking me up. Your comment about sloppy seconds. I think Jessie was just so weirded out about the whole thing that she didn't get as angry as she probably would. She did get a little frustrated at the end when he said Netflix and chill. She was done with it at that point. That's why she just said, "Get out of here." Like she was done. Yeah. All right, cool. Sorry about the wait, Miss Jones.
That's
Travis was
okay.
having a little issues here. Yeah, he is a fuck boy.
Okay.
Fuck boy. All right, cool.
You say the Sunday night question, is it between 7 and 9:30 or 7:30 and 9:30?
Sorry, 1 second. Say that one more time. Can't hear him.
The question in regards to the Sunday night sick, was it between 7:30 and 9:30 or 7 and 9:30?
7:30 and 9:30.
Therefore.
All right, sorry about that.
That's all right.
All right, Ms. Jones, I'm just gonna have a seat here. Okay. Shit. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna put a recorder on here.
Do I need representation?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is probably a good time for me to tell you this right now. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry. I always start with the rights, and this time I forgot. All right. Miss Jones. At this time, you are actually being detained for questioning, which means I will read you your rights. You have the
Okay.
right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney and representation. If you cannot afford such, the state will provide you representation. Do you understand these rights as they've been read to you?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Now that being said, what's going on is I'm going to ask you some questions regarding an investigation. You are able to seek out legal representation and to confer with them and or have them present during this interview. Do you wish to reach out and try to get legal representation? She's nervous. Poor girl.
Can I ask what it's about first? Do I get to know what it's about first?
Actually, I think procedure is actually to not tell you.
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe
I think I've scared her by
representation.
All right. You would like to... Let me see if we got any DOJ about. Okay. So it doesn't look like there's any currently on duty. Let me see if we've got any in the yellow pages. Or in the services app. Okay. Striker Barton. Okay, so it doesn't look like there are currently any lawyers or DOJ members here that could come and represent you at the time of this in the time of this interview. So basically, I can conduct the interview, is what we do, and if you wish to plead the fifth, on any of the questions, then you can just say, I plead the fifth, and I will jot down your not wanting to answer that question.
Okay.
Just so you know, even if you plead the fifth, you may still be liable for any charges that may come about from the information garnered from this interview. You can
Okay.
plead not guilty to those charges, in which... I don't know if you know this. I'm not trying to treat you like you're dumb, but I'm also not trying to treat you like you know everything. So if you do get charged with anything and you plead not guilty, then you will still be sent down to Bolingbrook for the allotted time and the fine. And then you can reach out to a DOJ afterwards to have the charges remanded, in which you will be recompensated for your time and money.
Sorry, I needed to move. So.
That's all right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Do you understand all that? I just want to make sure you understand all that.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Just going to have a sit down here. I don't. Okay, this is Detective Commander Lieutenant Jesse James with LSPD. The date is the 13th of August 2023. The time currently GMT would be, or whatever BST would be 10:55. In the interview room, I have one Miss Molly Jones. Can you please state your name for confirmation that you were in the room, Miss Jones, and being interviewed?
Yep, it's Molly Jones.
All right, fantastic. All right, Miss Jones. So the reason I'm calling you in, Miss Jones, is I have some questions. I believe we spoke yesterday, correct? Day before yesterday, actually, now that I think about it.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I think so. I think it
Yeah.
was the day before yesterday.
The
Yeah.
days all kind of run together for me, to be honest. Yeah, day before yesterday, we ran into each other, or I asked you down to the station to ask you a few questions. Those questions were regarding your knowledge or relationship of George Michael, correct?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, just want to confirm that. Yeah, and then I think additionally, Mr. Bourbon and your son, Curtin Jones, were here as well, but they stayed in the lobby during the duration of those questions. You were not detained, etc. Okay. Do you remember during that questioning that I told you that you claimed that Hugsy, Claggy, and Glenn Morgan were all still being housed within Bolingbroke Penitentiary?
Yeah.
Okay. And to your knowledge and understanding, do you still claim that they are inside Bolingbroke Penitentiary? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me exactly the last time in physical person that you saw them inside of Bolingbroke Penitentiary? Either while imprisoned or in visitation.
I spoke to them, what was it, about a week and a half ago, was it? But in visitation.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke to them.
Don't do it, Molly.
When I was sent to Bolingbroke.
Okay.
Oh, when was it? The day before last.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick. Okay, so you're saying, yeah, when you were incarcerated with Mr. Bourbon, you served a 5-month sentence. And this was on the 11th. And it looks like you were possibly sent down right around 9 p.m.-ish. Somewhere right around there. With the correlating points. Yeah. I mean, like, the report is opened at... actually... Yeah, I think the report's opened at, like, just shy of 9 or something like that. So, somewhere around there. But anyways, let's just say about 48 hours ago. Pretty much. You're saying that you saw them while you were incarcerated at Bolingbroke.
I spoke to them, yeah.
Gotcha. Physically in person?
Not in person, no. Spoke through other people there.
By other people, how do you mean? Like they told you they were in there, or?
I just spoke through other people, inmates there, through them.
So you basically got messages to the boys through them?
Yes.
Different wing in it. I guess. I don't know. And could you tell me why that you did that?
Why? To make sure everything was okay, because you had called me in a few times and you said you couldn't tell me why, and nobody could get through to the what was he called? Bruce. Oh, I can't remember his name now. Is it all right to look at my phone?
Yeah, it's all right. I really shouldn't let her look at her
Bruce
phone.
Rives, is that him?
Yeah, the warden, Mr. Bruce Rives. Yeah.
That's right, yeah. So I was trying to make sure everything was okay.
Gotcha. So even though you were incarcerated and you were physically inside the prison, you sought to speak out to them through different inmates?
That's right.
Okay. Do you mind telling me how you did so? Is there like
just,
a prison system in there, or what is it?
I just spoke to somebody in there. That was all that knew where they were. They was, as far as I knew, down in incarceration.
You mean solitary?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could do being incarcerated.
I mean, yeah, it's probably a little bit of both. One is the other. It's kind of like you can put a ship in a boat, but you can't put a boat in a ship, or vice versa.
This is it. Sorry.
It's all right. Do you happen to have a name of the prisoner that you passed the message through?
No, to be fair,
I wanted her to make up a fun name.
So, I'll probably give you a totally different name, and it probably wasn't even that right name.
That's all right. All right. So I'm going to be honest with you, Miss Jones. I'm just going to come out and ask you straight. To your understanding and your knowledge, do you know that Hugsy Jones, Claggy Jones, and Glenn Morgan are not at Bolingbrook and have thus escaped custody?
No.
Did you have any knowledge of such before this moment in which I told you?
Of course not. Hence, I wouldn't be calling the warden to find out what's been going on.
It's awfully convenient that nobody can get hold of the warden, it seems, these days.
Well, this is it. I've left messages and all sorts, and I've not had no response.
Okay. And when was the last time that you actually talked to any of the boys, Claggy, Glem, or Hugsy, via phone or physically in person specifically?
That was a good week and a half ago. Was it about a week and a half? Could be 2 weeks now. Days have gone on, but...
Hey, Chanwu. Okay. That was the last time you spoke to any of them?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what you want on the record? I'm fucking with her now. Okay. Just gonna write a little note down here. I'm just trying to give her a lot of pressure right now. Jesse's always under pressure. So you say it's been closer to 2 weeks since you've talked to any of them in any way, shape, or form directly?
I would say it's give or take a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Jeez. So is it a week and a half or is it 2 weeks?
Trying to remember when I last spoke to them.
Oh, I hope she says a week and a half. Please say a week and a half. Please say a week and a half. Please say a week
Probably
and a half.
about, yeah.
Please say a week and a half.
I'd say a week and a half.
Yes!
But I can't be definite.
She's too good. Ms. Jones, I think if you remember, I interviewed you, I think, last week. I believe it was
Right.
on Tuesday. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was roughly about 5 days. So on that day, you told me that you hadn't spoke to anybody in the family, any of those three, within about a week and a half because you'd been sick with the flu. So
That's right.
when exactly was the last time you spoke to them? Because at this point, that would make that over 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so then it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I have to remember I've had, been struck by lightning and, burnt in a car accident. So, my memory is not the best at the moment.
Yeah, you've had a rough time. I'm trying to be very mindful of that.
Of course, and that's why I was saying to you, I didn't say a definite. I said give or take. That's what I think.
All right. Well, so this is where we have a bit of an issue here because all three, Claggy Jones, Hugsy Jones, and Glenn Morgan, have apparently escaped custody.
Since when?
Since last Sunday evening.
And how did that happen?
That's exactly what I would like to know. We had a changeover in the DOC, and we've been internally investigating that as well.
Oh, right.
We've not had any jail breaks or prison breaks in a good number of months or years at Bolingbroke. And the week that we get a new warden, we magically have one.
Wow.
Just think it's a little odd.
So now I'm worried about my brother. He's not got his medication. Or has he?
I don't know. I've spoken to the doctors. He's not come in and got his medication.
Wow.
And I would hope he's not trying to find someone off the street or somebody else's medication.
Well, let's hope not, yeah. That doesn't end well, does it?
I like your brother, but I think he definitely does need to keep up with his medication.
Most
Hello.
definitely.
Masterminds.
I think that too.
Yep. Yeah, so we're trying to garner the whereabouts of the three individuals, as you can imagine.
Well, yeah, of course. So what's happened to the warden? You
We
promised
don't
me
know.
he'd look after them.
I don't know. Apparently, the warden, well, let's just say that the warden wasn't able to look after them, and,
Well, no,
yeah.
it's bloody useless in my book.
Well, I do remember there was a bit of gunplay or something mentioned, so I'm not sure if I could say that any of the other three might have been
Well, how on earth
blameless.
did they get a gun?
I have no idea.
My God.
I'm not sure. Masterminds.
Well, surely if he was doing his job properly, they wouldn't be able to get a hold of a gun.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you'd like to think. Send people to prison.
Well,
and
this
you'd
is
like to
it.
think that
you
they
know?
would
Yeah. As far as I'm
be able
concerned,
to be trusted to.
my family members were in Bolingbroke in a safe place.
This pizza is purely a coincidence. I'm not dating anybody at a pizza shop.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I just
'cause
realized
this is
the
not
irony of
Tony's
that.
mistake. I mean,
By the way, are you
Tony,
good for
get
food?
free pizza?
Do you need a I mean, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes, let's be honest, I'm just going to level with you. The recorder's on, but I'm going to say off the record. As a woman, having a guy that could provide a stable meal 5 or 6 nights a week, I would probably take up sometimes.
Well, of course. I could do with a drink, actually. I'm getting quite low for a drink.
There you go. All I've
Getting a
got is
bit
black
thirsty.
coffee. Sorry.
Oh,
That's
coffee's
all I
good for
take it.
me. Thank you.
Well, no, a warden and a guard, whatever.
I'm in shock.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Yeah. I mean, I think my only thing is that, Ms. Jones, your family is very, 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 very close. And I know because I used to be pretty close with them myself, or at least a couple of them. And I just find it very odd that you are not informed of the slightest of any of these goings-ons.
Well, you may find that odd, but I don't know what else to say to you. I'm just as shocked as you are. I've been asking you every time you've, called me in. I've asked you what's been going on because I've been worried. Especially knowing my brother is on medication and, of course, my son, the sensitive soul he is,
Yeah, he's a big softy, of course.
He is. He really is, So I worry. Why would I not worry?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Speaking of your son, just,
Which one?
Hugsy. The one that's involved with this, I guess.
Okay.
If you remember, when I called you in a couple of days ago, I did ask you a few questions about a car that you had recently purchased.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe you purchased 2 vehicles. Well, one was the Post, whatever one it is, the little bitty smart car looking thing. The purple one.
Yep.
Which, remember, I asked you
city car.
questions.
Yep.
Yeah, your little city car. And then the second one that I asked you about was an Everon, as the staff at
That's
PEM had confirmed that you had ordered one that day.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So, and you claim that this car was to be an off-road vehicle for yourself?
Yeah.
Great. Are you still in ownership of that vehicle, Miss Jones?
As far as I know. Why would I not be?
Well, to my understanding, the only way that a vehicle can no longer be in a person's ownership is if they have transferred the ownership to another civilian. That sound pretty cut and dry to you?
Yeah, it does.
All right. Cool.
I mean, I've loaned it to George, as he needed a vehicle.
Ah, that's right, George Michael, who you also let borrow your other car the other day when you were
That's
at PDM, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
But other than that, yeah.
Now, Miss Jones, I don't want this to be like really tough for either of us here, but we both know you no longer hold the ownership papers for that car, the Everon.
Like I said to you, I've loaned it to him.
To George Michael?
That's right.
Okay. Then can you please tell me how and why that car is now registered to your son, Hugsy Jones?
I've no clue. Unless they've been talking between themselves, but I couldn't tell you.
That George and Hugsy have been talking.
Yeah.
Do they talk between themselves often?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't know.
Do they talk at all? Last I knew, wasn't George a French exchange?
He is, yes.
Okay. Miss Jones?
So I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on there.
You're not really sure.
No.
Okay. Are you aware that the only way that a vehicle can be transferred is from owner to the other civilian, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So you're telling
like I
me...
said to you yes,
okay.
that I transferred it to George earlier so he could loan the car, which he, so he could, when I wasn't around, use the car.
Gotcha. Okay. I've looked up George Michael. Perhaps it's because he's a French exchange and stuff, but as far as the citizenship paper records that come through the city, there is no George Michael.
Wow. There's a George Michael.
Okay. Can you call George Michael down to the station immediately?
He's not around at the moment.
So he's not around.
No.
Okay. Because if George Michaels doesn't have citizenship papers for this city, your vehicle could not be transferred to George Michael. So you're telling me when you loaned him the vehicle, you transferred ownership, is what you're claiming?
I don't know what I did, to be honest.
She's such a mom. Miss Jones.
All I know, I was loaning him the car. That's it.
Okay. Yep. And I believe I saw yourself in that Evron. Probably about
right.
15 minutes before I called you at Tuner Shop.
That's right.
Okay. And was George Michael with you then?
Yeah.
Okay. And who picked the way that the Evron looked?
Between us both, really.
Between you both.
Yeah. Yeah, he was helping me choose, or style, shall we say, how it looked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very good with all of that car stuff.
Yeah. Are you aware that that truck looks identical to the way Hugsy Jones designed his last one?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it does. I know, because I rode around in it quite a few times. He was actually very prideful about that truck. And it's interesting today that after 48 hours, you claimed that this vehicle was yours and it was going to remain yours as an off-road vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
That now you're sitting in front of me and that car has changed ownership and appearance, all befitting to the registration.
I couldn't tell
of
you. I
Hugsy
mean,
Jones.
I'm sure a lot of people have the same sort of taste.
Okay. Granted, I can give you the
I can't
taste
help
factor.
you on that one.
I can give you the taste factor, but I can tell you this. That vehicle could not have changed hands unless you physically transferred that vehicle to Hugsy Jones.
Like I said to you, I loaned him the car. That's all I can tell you, to George. Can't help you any other than that, sorry.
Ms. Jones, are you aware that you are currently could be facing felony obstruction charges for aiding and abetting a felony criminal on the run?
Right. I only know George, sorry, I know no criminal.
I mean, you know your brother and Glenn and Hugsy. You know they were serving time in Bolingbroke. And
As far as I'm concerned, they're still there.
well, I'm telling you right now that they're not there. So the big gap here is they're no longer in prison, and somehow Hugsy Jones has procured a vehicle that you owned that can only be directly transferred from yourself.
Wow, I really don't know how that could have happened. But then I'm not fully with it, am I? So I don't know what I've done.
I mean, if we're talking the paper trail here, you've transferred your vehicle to Hugsy Jones, and thus you've aided and abetted a criminal, which also means that you have also been in contact with Hugsy Jones to some degree.
Not that I know of. No, I've been in contact with George. That's it. George Michael.
George, who you can't produce physically at this moment.
I'm afraid. No.
And who has no citizenship papers or record or DNA on the file.
I can't help you with that.
She can stop the interview. All right. Thank you. All right. So when you have Hugsy Jones has a vehicle and you have no idea how he got it,
No.
you have no idea where George Michael is, or simply that he's just not around conveniently.
Yep. That's all I can help you with, I'm afraid. That's it. That's all the information I've got.
Tough call, James. What do we do? All right, just making note of that. That's not a challenge. All right, Miss Jones, if you give me a minute, I've just got to step down to the other room real quick.
Okay.
Let her sit on it for a minute. Travis, are you good?
Yeah, good. Just rounding up the rest of the report on this incident.
Where are you at?
Tony has left. I'm just coming back down now.
All right, just meet me outside of evidence. She really can get felony obstruction.
You good?
Yeah, she's still sitting in there. So
Okay.
basically what she's sticking to is that she had no knowledge that any of them had escaped. She claimed that while she was in prison, because the boys were in isolation, she passed messages or spoke to them through other inmates just to check on how they were, which is why yesterday she claimed that she had spoken to them in prison.
Sorry.
When I asked her how did the vehicle change ownership hands and why was the vehicle direct in design, like identical to how Hugsy Jones had his, she claimed that she just went with what looks good, and George Michael, who was with her, well, I guess that's the person I didn't see driving, also helped pick those things. I asked her, is she aware that you can only transfer vehicle papers directly? She said that she let George loan it and possibly he gave it to Hugsy. And then I said, can you have George come down to the station directly to be spoken to then? And she said she doesn't think he's around, that he's gone to bed for the night, which I said is
Right.
awfully convenient.
It's pretty late for her, but yeah.
Yeah,
Convenient.
it's getting there, I guess. But at the end of the day, my thing is that it comes down to, again, do I want to stick this now and go through that? And the ramifications that can come as a individual or as an officer.
Again, it's hard to assess if that is what she said she did in lines of communication between other inmates. Because we not got the governor around to ask if they our incarceration away from the rest of the prison population.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how it all works, like how it could do it, but I mean, I've been out there in prison because inmates have had guns, so obviously they've figured some shit around the system, so wouldn't surprise me if she's able to do that. So I mean, I could give her that, but I think it's the car thing that really does it. I think at the end of the day, I've just got to go.
I've transferred it to George.
Yeah, well,
And
she's
then what
used
George
the word.
transferred it to.
Yeah, she's used the word loan. She's loaned it to him, or she's letting him drove it. And I said, okay, well, that wouldn't explain how Hugsy Jones now is the registered owner of that vehicle. And when I brought that up to her, she said, well, I'm not sure if I did or if George did or what. She's like, I'm not really up to scale on all this technology and shit. You know, like a typical mom.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to be honest, is probably, I mean, honestly, if he's out and she knows about it, she did it on purpose, 100%. Or Hugsy told her exactly what to do. I know them both well enough to say
probably
that.
fit the score, yeah.
But because I can't legitimately actually say she physically talked to him or anything and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I don't know. I think, honestly, all I can do in there is I can go in there and I ask her and say, you know Hugsy Jones is out now. If you knew he was out of prison, would you have transferred ownership of that vehicle?
I mean, probably just going to say no, right?
Yeah, she's probably going to say no, but if she's dumb enough to say yes, then I think we slap her with the charges.
Mm-hmm. At this point, she seems to have her story pretty tied up. I'd be surprised if she messes up at this point, but don't know if we don't try.
Yeah.
In terms of Tony's investigation, nothing's kind of gonna help this. So, the last time he claims to have spoken, seen, or visited any of said Claggy, Hugsy, or Glam, the only person he visited at Bolingbroke was 3 weeks ago, and that was Claggy.
Yep.
And that was to talk about some payments that had been missed to himself for gardening work at, in quote, their big house, because he used to do gardening for him. But
yeah, Tony lived out there.
He's not seen or spoken to Hugsy or Glam. But again, that was 3 weeks ago, so even if he had, they were still in at that point.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I think as much as my guts tell me she knows exactly where the boys are, they're all too close not to know. I just don't think I've got enough to just nail it, and I don't think it's...
Evening.
How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
I don't want to say I don't think it's worth it, because at the end of the day, that's our job, is accountability. People need to realize that, like, there was a paper trail here. She said she gave it to George, and I said, did you transfer papers to George? And she says, I think I did. And the way that I see it is that George, I've looked up, there is no George Michael as a citizenship paper. So there is no way to transfer ownership of that vehicle to George Michael. That's why I asked to request him to come down. Oh, that's what I did. That's what I told her. I said, he can't. Her response was, she's like, then I'm not really sure. I don't know how it ended up. You know. And my thing is that we can't tell her to retransfer it. I suppose. I mean, the only other thing I don't even know how it would work, actually. My thing is if that vehicle was transferred while he was on the run, correct? And it was used, like if it was transferred to him while he's on the run and while there's an active warrant, we might be able to press for repossession as he obtained that.
Does he have a residence that we can get a warrant for to repossess it?
I don't know. I mean, sure, he's got a thing. Let's see. It says Alta Street, number 60. My thing is, though, is that he's obtained that asset while having an active warrant for escaping custody. So my thing is if she's claiming she doesn't know how he got it, and my thing is he shouldn't have been able to obtain it, then I don't know if that's one of those things where if we know it's a clear-cut asset gain during the time of a warrant or whatever, is that something we should be pressing for repossession then?
I think if we had longer on this warrant, then this warrant for Bugsy, I think we would probably press to get a warrant to obtain the vehicle just in case it's had any evidence that would lead to finding his whereabouts.
Yeah, it's hard with all this.
That's the only stretch, real. Yeah. Again, if we're not pressing to extend the warrant, kind of at a do.
Yeah, just
I'm kind of thinking
it
it like, how do we want to come across here in terms of our investigation? I mean, me personally, we're asking enough questions. We're going to keep them on their toes. We've kind of just come out with it. Maybe they think they've got one up on them. Maybe they think they're scot-free.
Yeah, that's the hard part of me, though. Like, that's the hard part. Because, obviously, that they didn't get away scot-free. Like, there's been too many ties. I mean, like, right now, based on the investigation, George Michael has been possibly tied to B. Hugsy Jones. So it's interesting that she keeps saying that this George Michael person is the middleman.
Did she give you a description of the George?
She did the other day. He's got dark hair, long hair, a beard. It's missing he doesn't have I think it's a left hand. He doesn't have a left hand, which,
what's her relation to him?
He's a foreign exchange student of some sort. Apparently, Molly and Curtins took him in or some shit. I don't know. It's all sketchy.
He's got no.
He's got no papers,
ID.
is what I'm saying,
illegal.
which is why I'm saying he couldn't have obtained that vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying, somehow, way, shape, or form, she's had to
Unless
have transferred it
she's just
directly.
passed it over free of hand.
Well, I don't know. That's my thing. I don't know. But even if she did pass it over to...
I mean, it could have been cash in hand. So.
To who?
To George.
I guess so.
Transfer, she says.
Well, that's the problem, though, isn't it? Because, to my understanding, she would still have to transfer the digital records.
Yeah, that's the issue here. The lead we're going off on the trail is George, and George is currently dead end. Unless we pull somebody over for someone illegal and in questioning they claim to be said George, then he's literally dead end.
No, yeah, no, I know that, but I'm just saying, if he's a dead end and stuff like that, then really her testimony and her answers aren't viable either. I mean, if she can't produce him as a physical person either. What?
She's not sure though. She wouldn't know how it all works and stuff.
I mean, that's what she's saying.
ID and things like that.
Which, to be honest, I guess could be true, but that means somebody told her what to do.
Yeah, probably an assumption though, but a good one.
Yeah, it's all right.
I mean,
Okay.
she's sticking steady with the old fuzzy kind of not sure what's going on, don't know technology.
Yeah, I mean, she has had a couple of hospital visits over the last week and a half too, so I mean, there's some stuff there. I'm not saying she's a malicious person, but I am saying I do believe in some way, shape, or form she is, felony obstructed in some way, shape, or form because she's family. I know them. And I think, like, this vehicle tie-in, the fact that it's been clearly transferred is actually almost a dead to rights kind of thing. It's just, you know, I guess without her actually confessing so clearly, then it just comes down to discretion.
Yeah, definitely seems to have found a rabbit hole,
Yeah,
loophole. That's what I was going for.
I suppose so. All right, well, then maybe we'll put out an APB for George Michael.
Yeah, I mean, he's been down, Glitter has been down to enough places, right? Where did he go for these upgrades?
Tuner shop. But I talked to
Tuner
Mr.
shop.
Mercer, and Mr. Mercer said he didn't know who he was, and that was the first time he'd met really Molly Jones, so.
Right, okay.
He said something like he didn't speak English very well, which he's supposed to be a French exchange, so I guess that's it.
Right, okay.
All right. Oh, well, I'm just going to finish this up so I don't take any more of her time.
Yeah, okay. I'll be out there.
Cool. How's it going, Miss Jones?
Yep.
All right. Just jot down a note here. Miss Jones, can you tell me currently where Mr. George Michael resides?
I don't know.
Was it not your family that had kind of taken him under your wing and you said you were helping him with work and other things? You don't know where he lives?
I think it's Aldershot, I think.
Okay. And to your understanding, does George have any other friends or family in the city?
I don't know. There's a few friends as far as I know, but I don't know exactly who.
Okay. And can you please spell his last and first name?
It's M-I-C-H E-A-L. George is George.
Michael James, Michael Bain. George Jones, Georgie Porgy. Nope. Okay. Ms. Jones, I just have a question for you. If you had knowledge that Glenn Morgan, Claggy Jones, and Hugsy Jones had all escaped from Bolingbroke Penitentiary, would you have transferred your vehicle to Hugsy Jones?
Of course not. Why would I?
Well, I mean, he's your son. Wouldn't want him to go out without, would you?
There's that. Well, there's that, but No, I need it for work. Like I said to you, I've loaned it to George Michael. That's it.
So you've loaned it to George, and your statement is that in some way, shape, or form, he has turned over that ownership registration to Hugsy Jones.
I don't know. I do not. I don't know how it's got to Hugsy Jones. I'm just saying I loaned it to George Michael.
Okay. If you pull out your phone right now, Miss Jones, and look at your vehicle app,
Right.
you'll see that you no longer have the registration of the Evron, correct?
Okay, so I only thought that happened because I loaned it to him.
Okay. So you're saying when you loaned the vehicle to George Michael, you did it via the phone?
Yeah, I think it was.
Or did you just give him the keys?
No, I done it via the phone to loan it to him. He's going to give me it back once he's ready to go back to France.
Okay. Okay, Miss Jones. So I'm going to ask you a question here.
So I need to stand up for a moment.
That's all right. Go ahead. Okay. So, Miss Jones, I'm asking you a question now then. It appears, if what you're saying is true, that you loaned George Michael your vehicle, but in doing so, you have handed over the ownership papers to George Michael. Now, in turn, somehow, George Michael has turned over the registration of that vehicle and ownership over to Hugsy Jones.
I don't know why that's happened.
Okay. So, at this point in time, it would seem...
To me, that'd be pointless if he's in, as far as I'm concerned, he's in prison, so...
Yeah. Which also raises the questions of how George Michael was able to get in physical contact with Hugsy Jones to transfer the vehicle.
Well, I don't know.
She almost choked.
I don't know if he's, met him before, through curtains, I don't know.
Oh, I mean, they could go way back and way back and way back.
Exactly.
But you have to
Exactly
physically
that.
transfer a car via phone, which means it would have had to be in the last 48 hours while Hugsy Jones
That's right.
is no longer in prison custody, which means that George Michael has been in contact and or has aided Hugsy Jones in his escape from Bolingbroke Penitentiary.
Okay, well, that's something I don't know. I couldn't help you with that one at all.
Okay. All right, so... what charge? Fines. Okay, so... do you have a telephone number for George, Miss Jones?
No, I don't normally contact him through phone.
And how do you get in contact with Mr. Michael?
He normally jumps on the radio.
On the radio.
Yeah.
And this radio is a station shared between whom?
Just myself and sometimes curtains.
So your other son.
That's right, yeah. So sometimes we just have our own radio.
Just you and Curtains. Okay. And George just hops on this radio, and that's how you get in
Yeah.
contact with him?
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
Normally it's to pick him up and stuff, so that's why, you know, when I'm busy, that he's bothered to come.
Mm-hmm. She's doing good for like a gang perspective. So you're telling me the only people that use this radio channel that you're referring to is yourself and Curtains, and now as of late, George?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 All right, Miss Jones. Well, I think that is all the questions that I am going to be able to ask you. I think I'm just double checking here. Regarding the vehicle, and such, I believe, LSPD, in regards to this investigation about the escapees, I believe we will be approaching a judge about possible repossession,
Right, okay.
and or a warrant of arrest for Mr. George Michael, and a bolo on the vehicle. This is being done because the car was, as it was transferred to an escaped convict, was obtained illegally, and it sounds like it was transferred without your full knowledge.
Of course, yeah.
So
Exactly that.
it's almost a case of Grand Theft Auto to a degree. So we're going to have to speak to Mr. George Michael and push this forth on that end. I cannot express to you enough, Miss Jones, that if you come into contact with any of the three individuals and or George Michael, that, well, you don't, I guess, aid, abet, or fund any sort of activities that they may get up to while
of
they are
course,
being
yeah.
actively pursued.
Definitely. Makes sense.
All right. Okay. Other than that, all I can do for you, Miss Jones, is I suggest that, well, if you do know people are escaping custody, or they're on the run, or they're committing crimes, even if they are your family members, to not give them the means, whether that means vehicles or cars or et cetera, to continue with their illegal activities, as it will implicate you.
Of course, yeah.
Today you are facing charges for aiding and abetting, felony obstruction, and also false report. However, I am letting you go free of charges, pending
Okay.
an investigation on George Michael in conjunction with the escape of Glenn Morgan, Claggy Jones, and Hugsy Jones from Bolingbroke.
Okay.
If If you wish to make any further statements regarding this investigation, if you have any further questions, I'll answer what I can. And or if you're able to produce George Michael to come down and clear up my investigation and what exactly went on, then you've got my phone number.
I have, yeah.
Cool. All right. This is Lieutenant James turning off the recorder. Interview 13th of August, 2023. Molly Jones in conjunction with Investigative Report 193. There you go. All right, Miss Jones, you want to follow me?
Thank you.
There we go. We'll go up front.
Okay, thank you.
Oh. Got it.
Yep.
You know, I don't derive some sick pleasure of calling you down here every day to question you about your
No,
son
no.
and
I'm
your
sure you
brother
don't.
and whatever Glem is.
A family friend, but yeah. I fully understand that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do my job. If I don't do my job,
of
then,
course.
well, I just won't have a job anymore. And from
Well,
what I've
exactly
heard,
that.
it's not exactly the best out on the streets there for myself either. So,
No.
okay, you've got a car here. So just making
I
sure you
have,
had
yeah.
a car.
Yeah, thankfully it's still there. One
Yep,
piece.
you're lucky there. If it was a cop car, it'd have been gone. Oh no, mine's still there. Oh, I'm surprised about that too.
Oh, wow.
Must be a busy night elsewhere.
Must be.
All right, Miss Jones. Have a good night. Thank you for all your time. Sorry it took so long.
That's alright, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I guess enjoy that
Can
truck.
I have my weapon back?
Oh yeah,
Or-
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Here, you can give those back to Tony.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, he already left. So Travis said so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you'll see him before I
I'll
will.
give it back to him. I'm sure I will.
All
Okay,
right,
thank
cool.
you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye now.
Who left their car running? Not me. 252. Two, 4, 3 back on 1.
I've got them here now.
Right, okay, I'm getting these.
Eastbound Vespucci Adams Apple Boulevard. They're back at the vehicle again. Doesn't seem like we can get in though.
Do you need additionals?
Please. We are currently southbound on Elgin Avenue. Just behind.
Travis, I'm helping with an active, and then I'm gonna come back and talk about the report and stuff. I'm on Radio 1.
We're now heading through alleyways, southeastbound of Davis Avenue.
What is the class of vehicle?
It's a B class Audi RS2 Avon.
I've got to be honest, I've been keeping up with it in, well, it was pulling away from me in A.
Yeah, this one's fast.
Yeah, we're now Grove Street, heading westbound.
They went behind Forum Drive Apartments.
Try and take that jump, so I blocked him. I knew he was going to take that jump then.
Did they turn back around?
Gone southbound Alter, taking a left now, going eastbound Davis.
10-4.
10-4.
Going behind the building, parallel to Grove Street, eastbound off-road.
These guys are super ratty.
Grove Street now. Taking a right, going east through the parking lot.
Wouldn't be a chase if I didn't roll or flip.
Sorry, Two-Tone, you can take it when
Good
you've got it.
Northbound now, Carson right. North onto Strawberry. North on Strawberry passing the gas station.
There, I let her go free.
North on Strawberry.
It's tough because, like, a long time
Left-
ago, we were supposed to have
westbound
these
San
conversations
Andreas.
about,
Left southbound Elgin.
like, extending warrants and stuff like that, but, like, it never
Slowing.
happened.
Continuing
So,
southbound
like, it's
Elgin.
not cool to, like, do it now because you guys are, like, it's live and it's not fair because it's a policy change, but at the same time, it's also, like,
And right west onto Innocence.
you know, it's the same thing. Like, I know that physically, like,
Yeah, it's pulling away from me in A.
Away from you in A, then go to A+. Your left now, northbound Power. Your left, and I can.
Right and then a left.
On your left.
Yep, left behind the car park. It's construction, westbound.
1050. What is this originally for?
It flagged up on our vehicle reader. We were responding to a vehicle theft. 2 vehicles were there. The gentleman that was originally in the blue vehicle to drive away because it was the silver vehicle we were interested in. He pulled out in front. The guy in the silver vehicle got out. That is the guy that's currently driving this vehicle now.
Okay, so this person would be for vehicle theft then, charge-wise.
Yes,
And plain and
yep.
white.
Yeah, it's now only 1 time's occupied. I just saw.
Okay.
We did lose him for a moment, so
Well, as long as you can verify the clothes and stuff like that, it's still the same person.
yep, 10-4. We're now northbound on Dutch London Street. Now northbound on Calais Avenue.
I need music.
Taking a left. By a right.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's, like, and it's not me even just trying to get at Hugsy. Like, I really would legitimately ask this about anybody. And I've asked this about questions and businesses in the past. Like,
By a right.
we went in,
Still east on Dorset.
there was one case in which
Boulevard, south.
we went to a business and one of the employees in a
Continuing left into
uniform
Unity Depository.
with a mask ran over
Went
an
straight across
officer
and come out on Lower Powell Street.
and assaulted that
Used to be this
officer.
time.
And
Straight through the car park, did he?
Straight through, yeah. Took the... I don't know where he's gone. I did not see him come out. Seen him going through the car park onto Lower Powell Street.
I'm a code 16, the Integrity Tunnel behind Pillbox.
The Union Depository car park is code 4.
Oh, I thought that was it.
Park opposite that is code 4.
Funny if it loses. Oh, it'd be so funny. No, I do ask though because, like I said, it's come up before with like business owners. Like we get these questions and it's hard in RP because it's like, what do we do? Like, because you have to have warrants for things. But Regent Square appears to be code 4.
I think this is I think I
Yeah,
wrote this one
so
correct for UTL.
my thing is like Jessie would hate to take that truck from Hugsy because she knows how much he
Sorry
loves
about that
it
one,
and she
guys.
wants that truck too. But really, we have this thing like one time we had a person in uniform, they assaulted, handcuffed, and also ran over 2 officers while in uniform. And when we went
I need
back,
to get a repair for this
the
vehicle. I need to
business
fuel up.
owner
I've got
refused.
no fuel left.
I'll be here secondary, or and I'll probably take tertiary in the chase unless somebody else wants it. So I'll clear store and do tertiary. Do you want me to go in and negotiate to two-tone and you get evidence?
Yeah, 10-4, all good.
Because I'm bitter he's left me to deal with it. Nah, you're alright. How's it going? Can you hear me?
I can hear you indeed.
Alright. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. And you?
I'm alright. Alright. Just trying to drive around.
What?
What's up? So, what seems to be the issue here? You're holding up Abdul here.
We are indeed. We're taking his money and we're gonna run. Because we're criminals.
I'm sorry, Abdul. It
And
didn't
what
have to
criminals
be
do.
this way. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Alright, so I'm assuming you guys will want passage to this vehicle.
Yes, please.
Cool.
That's just all about my demands. A safe passage and no stupid shit. Because if you do stupid shit, I'm gonna get annoyed. And I'll do stupid shit.
I mean, isn't that subjective, though?
It is subjective, yes. But I'm quite an open-minded guy.
Alright, fair enough. I'll remember that. Alright, well, let me just clear that with the team, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. Hang in there, Abdul.
Alright.
They just want passage.
Give me your $200. I'm broke.
Yeah, no. So,
10-4.
but we went back to the business owner, and we said, that was your employee. Who is it? Who was it? And to give up the identity of the employee. And they refused. And James said, well, that's felony obstruction. They are knowingly refusing to identify and hindering an investigation. And I think that one went to the wind, too.
A-class, Dabachi Masacro.
A. Oh, this one's a really fast one though, isn't it?
Alright, who's taking primary? Who's taking secondary?
I'll take primary, 210 if you want to take. Secondary, and then James if you want to clear this all, and then join in tertiary.
Yep. Alright, cool. Alright, well, you're good to go. You'll get passage to the vehicle. Just be mindful. Don't point your gun at anybody. Can't, like, don't run. Don't be crazy when you walk out again.
Okay.
It's subjective, and you can get in your vehicle and you can go.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Alright, they're gonna walk out. GDPR. Can't break the law for the law.
Hey, we are now going through the alleyways heading up to Forum Drive, now heading eastbound Forum Drive towards Strawberry Avenue, taking a left at Strawberry Avenue. Now we're going northbound Strawberry Avenue. Continuing northbound on Strawberry Avenue, taking a left at Adams Apple Boulevard, heading westbound Adams
I think
Apple.
that more has to do with, like, records, though.
And then we're taking a right now, heading northbound on Elgin, taking a left but next to the car park, massive 1050 with a wall.
Whoops.
Taking a right at Adams Apple Boulevard, heading westbound.
Yeah.
Then we're taking a left now, going on Elgin, no, Power Street, left, southbound, taking a left through an alleyway. Followed by another left. Through the storage facility.
TB, I don't know where he went. And west on Power Street towards an alleyway.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's a challenging one. So, like I said, he obtained that vehicle, like, like, again, at the end of the day, I'm not, like, super fussed, to be honest. I think it's just, like, a little kind of, like, a pain, because, like, we've talked about the warrant extendings before in the past. I don't know what happened to that. And then, like I said, not that it was y'all's fault, but in general, now we need to look at people trying to get loans while they have active
Sorry, Two-Tone,
warrants.
that was shit comms.
Good, mate. Don't worry about it. You're good.
So, that's 243. The store is code 4. So my thing is
You're on code 6 south
you
side.
know, what do we do there? Because there's not public record, so they would have to call and check in with us and see. But in general, I think the loan system needs to be looked at, because I feel that people have been given like very hefty loans with like little to no collateral or anything, and it just seems a bit nutty. Because people are getting loans for things that are like
Boulevard, code 4.
what I feel is like massive, like,
Your
you
Royal
know,
Hastings code 4.
should be worked towards. Maybe that's just my opinion.
I call it code 4 UTL. One of you guys.
You're right, JJ.
Hi. Yeah, how are you?
All right. Well, it just looked like you were kind of like sitting on the windowsill all sad and stuff, so I was just making sure you were okay.
Oh, no, I've been watching the chases go by.
Yeah, you're like in the prime spot for it, to be honest.
Right. Usually I sit on the corner, but the last couple
that
of times
you?
I've almost gotten hit, so
No, it's not.
I figured by the door was safer.
Yeah, because people will try to cut this corner, to be honest. And you don't want to go anywhere near that car park if there's chases going on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The amount of times people have busted through that fence and it flew over here.
Yep.
Terrifying.
Yeah, this has always been like a crazy hot spot. What are they doing? Oh, you might have a customer coming in. Maybe. So, how's the cafe business?
Pretty good. A lot of people are happy we have black coffee back.
Oh, I am. I have to find a replacement for my deep fried Mars bars.
Yeah. I'm kind of sad we don't have everything deep fried now.
Well,
Except the fish.
the stuff tastes good, but I'm gonna be honest. You've got, what do you got for desserts? You got the cake. I guess
We
the
have
donut would
2
do.
cakes.
Yeah, because my thing is the deep fried Mars bar, you know, I just have like a little napkin around it and I can just eat it in my car, you know. That's what I used to do. But like the cakes, I feel like you gotta eat them, like they just get too messy with like a fork and with your hands.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a donut then, I guess. What the hell?
Yeah, that's the other entertainment here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Tasker will be in trouble for that one. Well, I mean, they both will be, but
Is the shortbread too messy to eat in your
have
car?
a good night. I don't remember.
Thanks, guys. Sorry about it.
Oh, you're fine. Quit being a sad sack.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Well, I just want to say, maybe I'll take some shortbread. I'll take a coffee and a shortbread, and we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't know if it's a detail though. We're just asking if who the employee was. Sorry, what?
You just want one shortbread and one coffee?
Yeah, or I guess well, I guess if I just do one more thing, it makes it a meal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'll go with the fish and chips. It'll give me something fried at least. Who knows?
I'll try to make.
I'm not super
the
fussed on it
chips
because then at the end of the
extra
day.
crispy for you.
Gotcha. I think my thing is that it's a hard thing because you want to do good RP and you want it to make sense, and we work so
This
hard
might
on the
seem like a
penal code
really
and
random
everything.
Question.
Hmm?
Are you doing okay?
I'm alright. I think I'm tired. I think it's just been a crazy week. It's been a stressful week. It's been a stressful week, JJ.
That's fair.
Just been just a lot going on, and we haven't had the leadership around that we usually do, so I've been doing a lot of it. It's just a lot.
That sounds really not good.
It's alright. You do what you can do.
That's fair. Cash your card.
I'll go with card. Thank you.
Here's some
Thank
drink
you.
for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know if these are gonna work. It'd be cool. Yeah, what is that? What's that show? Secret Boss or whatever, when the boss comes in for those big, like, huge things. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
Oh dear. Oh no. Oh dear. Why do I feel like you're gonna like slap me or something?
What?
Oh.
Me?
I'll step back.
I promise I'm a good person, LT.
Yeah, you're something, all right.
Well,
I'm gonna leave you kids to it.
Have
a good one.
When you got a minute, can you just check over my most recent report, because I have issues with report writing, and I've been told off about it today, so I just want to see if it's up to par. Apologies for talking shop when I'm off duty.
All right.
Yeah. In other news, I won 100k on the spin wheel tonight.
Ooh, a spin wheel.
Quite enough to retire yet, but I'll be safe.
So awkward sitting here.
Are you gonna retire first, or are you gonna buy a car first?
Which report is it? Did somebody else open it? Is it a report or is it an incident?
Oh, incident 223.
Okay, all right, cool. All right.
I'm out of it. There we go.
It's all right.
Anxiety.
I'll have a look over it.
Appreciate that.
You're just standing there. Oh yeah, the evidence from Gabe. That picture was so good. Hey Gabe! Help Gabe!
Oh shit!
Oh Jesus Christ.
You're not on duty anymore!
No!
Yep.
No! Right, no. Sorry. Ow. I deserved it.
Hornby or
Ow.
Declan, are you heading that?
Yeah.
So just about to call it out.
Me and Declan on duty?
Yep, they just showed up apparently.
Oh,
Oh, nice of them to show up.
76.
Kidding.
299, same traffic.
Makes me laugh. Blah, 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 da, 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 da.
You need like a manager thing.
Oh, well, I've got
I
plenty
need dinner.
of bandages. I believe they're the only things we're
Yeah, I don't
kinda
know.
really
There's
allowed
always
to
things
still
I'm willing to
have on our
learn.
person, if I'm correct.
Like Jessie's got her whole personal life and
Yeah,
different
but
things
shops,
going
I mean,
on,
not
but like
exactly
from a
like-
cop, I'm always trying to think of different things and whatever. Now that we have the business stuff and we're trying to do different things, we have to like think of different businesses. It's hard because it's like the no mask thing. People walk around in masks like 24/7 and there's an anti-mask law. What if we go into a business and a business owner is serving people in masks? Then it's like, okay, like,
cock and balls.
you know,
Wait,
we
is
talk
this,
to them and then they go. But if business owners continually serve people with masks, then like,
It's not brand infringement.
do we start approaching the business owners? Who knows? It's so hard because when you do anything as a cop, you're just seen as somebody that's like trying to strong arm something.
Me?
I think it's a hard balance. It's whatever. At the end of the day, I feel I could have easily charged her with obstruction.
No, but it's a you dick.
But is it really worth the 10 months and $1,000
like saying here
fine
all night, but I'm
and the
not.
headache it's going to cause Jesse?
Should
No.
Sure, I see.
To be honest, personally, Jesse's not even worried about charging her with it because she knows if Molly Jones could do it, she would do it all again. She knows she would. Make the mayor do it. That would be his job.
I'm real sorry.
2 for 123 at Normandy Drive.
Yeah, my thing is I was going to have the mayor and the
one
mayor's team do
registered
like...
plate.
I thought it'd be cool if they did.
Someone in the vehicle.
Go check on the original call location real quick.
I think it's 43 DEP. Delta Echo Papa.
210 to 299. I wrote the report up for that incident we was involved with earlier. I know you was primary, so if you want to add anything else, please feel free to add.
Yeah. Like I thought the
I'm off
mayor's,
duty
it'd be
now, but
fun
be
to go
careful
in for
because
like,
there are
I
rats
really
around
want to go in
tonight.
and do like health and safety inspections.
I'll take a look in a minute, thank you.
Like, I thought that would be fun to do. So like going to like
Original location, just dead local here, no
businesses
car.
and checking them. So like if we went in, like let's say Breakers, if we went in there, like let's say it was Danny. Well, Danny does city planning, but I want the mayor to do it. We
I've
just
got the
can't
vehicle
seem to get a
there.
mayor in that does stuff. But I think it would really kind of, and they can like audit the books.
I said I wouldn't.
So they could
Yeah.
also like check
Let
the
me move over to
storages
mess
and do
and
different
getting mess.
things and like. I also want to do search warrants that
You guys all good?
Yeah, we're
That
probably
is a good
fine.
point. Good working. I'm just pestering you at your workplace.
You guys go on a date yet?
Been on 3.
3 dates?
Uh-huh.
Where'd you take her?
Hunting?
For all 3?
Pretty much. But we did go bowling. We did attempt bowling.
Yeah.
And then we had to leave because we both become.
I think
very
so
inappropriate.
because I think it's either way he won't last the whole 6
That
weeks. I
actually
don't
made
think.
it sound worse. Maybe
Which
I should
actually-
elaborate. Actually,
I mean, I think the
on-
only thing that's
there was
literally
just so many
staved it
jokes to
is
be
the
had
fact
if I was
that
to own that bowling alley.
he hasn't been around. Like I think McDougal's been on holiday, which
Um,
everybody has holidays, but I think it's only been 2 weeks that the mayor's been in place.
You know, I'd probably name it Dicks and Bowls.
You know, Hugh, sometimes there's just things that we just probably shouldn't say out loud.
But
or admit. I'm not sure if this is one of those things, but I just want to make sure that you understand that as a person.
Yep.
I think your report's okay.
Oh.
What? Was he crying because he's sad or happy? What?
I spent like 30 minutes over there in the corner doing it.
Okay.
having a mental
Well,
breakdown over it. It was
do you
sad
want
to
the
see.
real critique then?
I don't think I could deal with it. I think I'd probably hammer badge in.
All right. Let's see here. You put all the officers involved to the right. Check. Civilians involved. You didn't have to do that because it was criminals involved. Check. You've got the charges. You did that it was processed.
Mm-hmm.
Did he plead not guilty?
Yes.
Okay, so then that's a check. You've got the reduction in there. That's a check. In the body of the report, you've got the primary, the assisting, the suspect. You've got the locations, which was detailed. The officer version of events. Next to that, you need to put that you are the officer that is giving that events. Okay. Otherwise, we don't know because the report was opened by a different officer, if that makes sense. So
Yep.
I don't know you're the one speaking. Right. So you need to tell that. So you can do officer
He's in the driveway.
call sign version events. Okay. Other than that, you've got all this stuff in there. When it comes to items confiscated, you need to list them out. So
Let me check for
list them like
gun casings. Or
they had
anything.
this item A, enter. This item B,
I didn't
enter.
hear.
So that
I
way
didn't
it's very
see a
clear
discharge,
listed,
but
if that makes
yeah,
sense.
I didn't search either.
Not in a
no.
paragraph form. Other than that, all the details seem to be there, and it's there while they were charged what they were charged. Okay. Well, you also put the items confiscated at the bottom. I guess that'll work, but I would say put the enters so it's more listed out, not in a line form, because it runs together and people don't identify it as separate items, if that makes sense. I say do those edits, and the only other thing I would have to ask you is if you confiscated the weapons and it's in evidence and it's not being returned, you need to update that in the weapons DMV.
Right. The weapons DMV.
Oh no, it will be. It will be. I'm just saying we're 2 weeks in, and well, I mean it's the I say weapons DMV because that's just what my brain says, but it just says weapons.
Oh.
You just need to look up that serial, update it, and just say confiscated in regards to incident. Blah blah
Escort
blah.
EMS down to
Okay.
pillbox. There should be a mechanic on their way.
Okay. And because
Yeah,
it was
actually,
just
it's
criminal
mechanic.
discharge, you could choose whether or not his license was revoked. If it's revoked, we need to make sure we're updating that on the profiles.
Okay.
Okay. All right, cool. Got that? That's my critique.
Yep.
It's a good report. It's more thorough than others, but if you want my critique on feedback, that's what you get.
Okay, thank you.
All right, cool. All right. Well, don't sit there forever and do it because you're off the clock. JJ, it's good to see you. Glad you weren't sad and you were just chilling.
It's good to see you too. Thank you for stopping.
You're welcome. If you ever want to get a custom tattoo, you can come down to my shop. I would be happy to put ink on your body.
9 is 76 to pillbox with 195.
May come down soon.
Yeah, we're working on getting some good flash pieces in and like different extras, a lot of different flavors. So we'll have ones that are just at our shop, and then we also have customs. So.
Okay.
Mhm. All right, cool.
I am in need of some ink therapy soon. So.
Ink therapy is very much a thing, and sometimes I worry about working there because I just always want to get a tattoo. So. All right. Well, you guys have a good night. Catch you in a bit.
Almost there. They just hit me head on.
See you. Yeah, he was. Well, I think that's the issue. He was arrested in office. If I remember the report, it was for. Oh shit.
Oh, there it is.
It was for. Was it evading? He was doing something in his car, and evading and stuff like that, which is a criminal charge. But I believe he pled not guilty because he wants to take it to court. Yeah, drifting around. Yeah. So he wants to take it to court, and if the charges get dropped, then I guess technically he could stay in office. However, this has brought other things on the radar for Hero, which is possibly voter fraud, as well as the fact that he should have had a pre-existing record before he even went into office, and that record's not there anymore. And he didn't go through an expungement process. So, yeah, it's raised a lot of questions. I don't think he's going to finish his term. Yeah. But I think I agree with you about the business stuff. I think the mayor having some sort of like city team or something where they go and like inspect businesses and do like health and safety checks. Like I was saying, it'd be cool to go somewhere like Breakers, and you have to like show up in hard hats and whatever, and you have to like, they show you how they do their work, and if they want to give you like little red flags or green flags or whatever, I don't know, like it's all bullshit at the end of the day. But I just think it would be something fun and different for like that business RP, I guess. But it just comes down to like if people actually are going to do it. And my thing is there's so many businesses that like,
we got another one coming up. They changed their mind.
They saw me.
Psycho locals.
is that literally people could, I mean, like you could rotate the whole businesses. Sorry, what was that 10 on that, Hornby?
We're bringing the vehicle back to MLPD.
Ah, okay.
I think you got lost.
I was thinking, are we taking the longest route round, or?
Well, we're in the middle of the long route now, so yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to finish this another time. So
I'm gonna deal with that tweet. Suppose you mind just escorting him.
I was just gonna say, who wants to call her?
yeah, that sounds like Lillian and Elena, my two of my characters. They could give two shits. They don't care. I like Lillian loves events, and Elena cares about the city to a degree, but like they hate politicians. They don't care. They're not fussed about all that. They're not going to vote. So, which I think just some characters wouldn't. You know. So now I need to figure out what to do here. I'm just going to have to update the report in the morning because the report's going to end in the morning. Yeah. Molly Jones. Interrogation. 243 James. Sean flipped off the boss, took my name out the payroll. I think my thing is that it's gonna cold either way, but you just have to treat it like it's not going to. So really, it would be who's George Michael, and if he can be apprehended, and if he isn't apprehended, then he just appears. Then like the only silly thing would be the fact that Molly's gonna say, well, I don't know how Hugsy got it, but he can have it now, blah 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 blah. Yeah, well no, 7 days is today, but we remove it on the 8th day. So, so if we go like in true 8 days, it would be tomorrow after 6 p.m. But someone will probably pull it off on the day shift. It's hard though, because like, it's just a mechanic of the city though, isn't it? Because like for RP, it would be silly after a week to drop a warrant, especially when we've had the leads that we've had with this whole George Michael thing, which is just silly. It's so funny that it's because he flashed his ID to Tasker, which is just funny.
299 is 76 or whoops, MRPD with 195.
On top of that, yeah, noob. On top of that, it's the fact is that you've all, or at least Curtains and Molly, have admitted that they have that they are really close with George, and George has been seen with Molly on more than one occasion. She's admitted that, you know, so it's all too, I mean, James is right there where she's just like, George Michael is possibly Hugsy Jones. So my thing is because that's such a solid, like, lead and something that can be investigated, a part of me would think that she could, I think if I did, I could apply for a warrant extension for at least Hugsy Jones. Glenn and Claggy are in the wind. I haven't heard a single thing about Fabian or Glenn other than him calling me from prison. Claggy Jones, haven't heard anything from Claggy or about Claggy. The only thing I do have, though, on Claggy Jones, which I didn't obtain while I was a cop, per se, is that Wenzel ordered a tattoo in Claggy Jones's name, a custom one, and when Wenzel was called about coming down for his custom work, he said, "Who's there?" And when Dom said, "Jesse's down here with me," he said, "Oh, well, my mate was going to come down and maybe consider a tattoo, but you have to get naked in front of people, right?" And he was just like, he doesn't want to take his kid off in front of a lady because he's old and subconscious. So maybe I'll come down later. So like, I feel like that was Claggy wanting to come get his. But so all Jesse knows is that possibly Wenzel is in contact with Claggy, but it still is a stretch. There's no hard evidence. I feel the whole George Michael thing would be enough to get it extended for Hugsy, but, or all of them. I don't know how it works, but at the end of the day, I'm not fussed. It was a slippery thing. That's so funny. What, him flashing the ID? It was funny calling you in here. Oh, I gotta go put that thing back. I thought about asking you about the dead monarchs, but I think I'm gonna save it in my back pocket. We're gonna hold on to that one for now. I've got so many fucking reports I've got to open. I know, you're becoming part of the furniture. We have you in every day. A punch? No way. How's it going, Paul? How's it going, Paul Mack? Fuck my life. Ugh. I still have mini blue. I don't know if and when he's gonna get that. What's up, pals? How's it going? Hope you're well. Yeah, it's hard. Well, I mean, what's his name? Well, I mean, they'll all know, won't they? They're all cop. They all have cop characters. It's hard, though, because, like, when you think about it, like, OOC, you know, because at the end of the day, this is, you know, supposed to be fun. You know, you don't want it to become a drag. I mean, I do a lot of stuff as Jesse. Oh, man, it would be suck if I threw that away after the work. you know, you don't want it to be like a crazy drag, but it's kind of like you guys, they spent so long in prison, you know, trying to play out the RP of, you know, being in prison. They went through all the thing of getting the escape. You know, they spent the very end of 2.5 and like all of the beginning of 3.0. You know, so I think at this point I feel like they've completely played out a lot of it. It's a silly RP for it to just boldly be like, oh, 7 days, you know, like I feel how I would play it, because they've been on the long road with it, is I feel I would still play like I should avoid the cops possibly. And then one of them, if one of them gets arrested or gets found out, then, and they find out they don't have a warrant anymore for escaping from prison, I guess that's where they would know that they're back on the normal page, I guess. I think the only exception to that, again, is the whole George Michael thing, but it's very hard. It would be hard to pursue that, really. I really could as Jesse, though. I should threaten him with, like, taking his truck. I should, because she knows how much he likes his cars. She's also a little pissed.
Run an evidence strip in the vehicle, documented it fully. Do we need to keep it around, or can I just send it off to the impound?
If you've done all that, you can send it off.
So,
When it comes to that kind of stuff, especially if it's a depot, I don't know if this one is, but especially if it's a depot, the sooner we send it off, the better.
yeah,
because
this one would be a local impound, so
yeah, it's
just want
all
to make
good.
sure nobody actually needed it for anything.
Yeah, no.
299 to 241. What are you thinking for this guy? Just joyriding, or?
Hey, can you just repeat?
What are you thinking for charges? You thinking just
Can see these
joyriding
guys,
or
make them
TPA?
cry. Well, because Jessie found out how much an Evron was, because she had a
He
Sand
was in the
King.
vehicle, so that gives us a probable
That was her
cause.
first truck last time, but then she liked
And we
Hugsy's
got
Evron.
fingerprints of
He
blood
got her an
inside the vehicle
Evron,
from the same gentleman,
and she ended up liking that more than the Sand King.
I'd say Gruff
She liked his Range Rover too, but that car is hella too expensive, and one there's not even one in. But she wants an Evron, so she's slowly been saving up after all these shifts, and I think she's got like 30K, I think, 30 or 40K of the 120 or 130 that she needs. So the fact is like, from a personal level, the fact that he got a loan, and then the fact that Molly Jones bought the Everett and now it belongs to Hugsy Jones, Jessie's a little jealous. Like, she's pretty jealous right now. So a part of her does want him to like lose the car or it be impounded. But I think it's gonna bolo the vehicle, isn't it? Because he's got a warrant still. No. So there's that part. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get you on the, they want to do other stuff. I think that's the only thing I would say. If it was me, I would RP it out as if they're still on the lam. And then the first time they come across maybe, law enforcement, and they don't get done in for things, then maybe they could, I mean, depending on the officer that they get, honestly, officers let go of more information than they should. They could probably garner the information from somebody. If they ask somebody directly, like, do I have a warrant? No officer should tell them. But if they run into him, like, bold-facedly, I mean, you'd want it to be more RP than just bumping into each other and ooh-woo and then the officer not going for the arrest. But I guess if that's what you decide to do, that's what you decide to do. Or if they decide to do. But it's cool to play it on the lam, and then when they find out they don't have a warrant, then they can kind of just get on with things, even if they're a little leery. We've talked about that, or we've talked about using them, like if they're owned vehicles. And that's my thing. Cars don't get repossessed. I think that they should, if somebody can't pay their loans, whatever they, if their car is collateral or if that's what they used the loan for, they should be repossessed. I think if asset fees don't get paid after so many weeks, I think there should be an auto repossess that they'll have to work out with PDM and or law enforcement or the government to get it back. But like I said, like there's no system for right now what's happened. That car was obtained while he was on the run. So I think there's a part of me that thinks legal ramifications because the system is flawed. He was able to get that vehicle. But at the end of the day, I think long term, I know she would have given him that vehicle.
2 for 1's 299.
Traffic.
They should.
Okay,
I thought they did.
I'm speaking with Ruben Wyvern right now. I just want your opinion on something.
Yeah, what's up?
So, do you find it weird, bread and butter in a sandwich?
Bread and butter on like buttering your bread before you make your sandwich?
No, like, just a butter sandwich.
Butter on a sandwich?
The concept of buttering your bread for a sandwich.
No, I mean, it depends on the sandwich. I can get behind butter.
You butter your sandwich every time.
I'm not going to butter my sandwich for a fucking peanut butter and jelly, okay?
She said, well, then you just have to be a stricter mother.
Also,
at the end of the day, because...
I mean, I can get behind butter on a sandwich.
This is where Jesse wouldn't... This is where Jesse is tough and Molly's a mom. Because Jesse, if it was her friend...
conversation with Warden, I think it was last night, and yeah, she was disgusted by it.
So my thing is that, he's on the run. He doesn't get a toy.
Right now.
Especially after he was a dumbass and showed his ID to Tasker.
That's Poochie, I think.
Which I did giggle because I think when I saw that you guys were watching back and you said Tasker's the one that made him, you guys were like, oh, he's going to get hit. Oh, yeah, no, they should build. They don't. I don't think they do build, which I think is dumb. I think they should build. Because people I know were, like, not paying their asset fees and only paying them as they wanted to pull cars out. And, like, I don't know. It's just, it's cheesy. I would pay my asset fees every week because I feel like that's the whole reason I have the car. Like, I have the car because I want to be able to drive the car. If I can't afford the asset fees and all this shit, then, like, I just shouldn't have the car. So, I don't know. People can be like, ooh. I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. So, I would always pay my asset fees on all my cars. Which was a lot, even though they were cheap cars. Because Elena and Lillian are
2
car
for
hounds.
1's 299. One's 299.
Enter traffic.
Yeah, are you still processing?
Hey, what's up,
yeah,
Guardian?
I'm just about done.
Okay,
Yeah.
once you finish, you have to come down
So,
to
like-
Vespucci Market.
Yeah, I can head down there.
Yeah, no, day before yesterday, Maxie gifted some subs in the channel because he didn't want some of our favorite people to have ads. So I think Arthur got one, and you got one, and Dean, and Glemlins, and Dip got him. And I think he also gave one to Shifty because we felt bad for little old Shifty exploding in the car. Explosion. So she got a sympathy gift. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't know. There's a good number of systems that could, yeah, and you got one. And, yeah. Thanks for helping out with the interview stuff. I don't think there's a way to, is there a way to put a warrant out? You're welcome. I mean, I can put out a bogus warrant incident. So, I don't think you can actually put a criminal in here that doesn't exist, though. Nope, George Jones. I was wanting you to make up names. Oh. I wanted to hear these criminal names. I think all I can do is put out maybe an APB. Oh, actually, that reminds me. I need to see if I can get into Billy Pope's thing now. Billy Pope. Still can't edit his. Okay. I was getting tired sitting in that room. Oh, tonight? Yeah, I figured. I was trying to hurry up as much as I could, but, you know, what can you do? Okay, so we still can't select his. So I need to put a note in about that.
Driven's seafood place open?
No, market shop.
Damn.
If we're in the shop with her.
I just need something to drink.
Yeah, she just said she can still sell food.
You're cursing Hugsy? Yeah, I bet. If you are on but are not using a car, send it to a car storage facility, 3-month storage payment. Yeah, I mean, that works too. I just, you know, obviously there's mechanical things in place that get kind of like the mechanical thing, like how Time was basically telling Jesse, like, could it have been a cash in hand thing? But the problem is that through the city, all of the records have to go digital, which means she had to physically send that to Hugsy. The only difference is George, which was her loophole, is that she could send it to George unknowingly, and he gave it to Hugsy, which obviously we all know is bullshit, but that's the loophole. But the issue is the mechanic is that it's almost like dead to rights at the same time. Yeah, we really were. It was an investigative. It was an investigative technique. I even when I left the room, if you go back and watch the VOD, I'm just like, we're gonna let her sit there with that. To be honest, I feel that we could have taken you to court, because at the end of the day, at the very least, it would have been obstruction, which is just, it's $500 in 5 months, but at the most, felony obstruction, possibly false report. So, which really isn't even that much. It's like 20 months and $2 grand. So, oh, you were right. It's traced. It's traceable. So, you know, tell you what, you didn't get arrested, but you better give them a damn earful. I was trying to figure out, I was laughing because of what Tony said. I'm wondering if Tony was talking to Hugsy on the radio when he said, do you want me to say anything to your bird? And then, and then he said, oh, it's a pizza joint guy saying you're the hottest cop in LS. And I was like, I'm not dating a pizza guy. But it was pretty funny. Yeah, he was. I like how he just said it in like, oh, see, I'm sitting here like, did he really just say that? Like, I'm literally calling you in to question you about the knowledge of the escape of these 3 individuals, and you're going to tell them on radio, do you want me to say anything to your bird?
Fucking Barton's back.
So I was just laughing. I'll beat him with my bad. Good.
I said, is that Barton's back in the middle of the fucking VBM?
It'll be,
I'm sorry.
I did think it was risky. Yeah. It was. He played it off like a dum-dum. And then he said, oh, there's some guy down here at the pizza place, and I said, no, I'm not dating any pizza boy that I know of. It'll be interesting to see. I watched back his stream. Jammy's, guys, I'm going 42. I'll see you next time.
Have a good evening, James.
I'll see you, James.
Just before you go, I have an honest question.
Yep.
I'm speaking with Wyvern. Do you think it's weird for butter to be in a sandwich?
I think it depends on the sandwich. But I really don't think it really matters a whole lot, to be honest. Butter's good and salty and neutral, and it could go bad on just any sandwich, I think. Even if you have other sauce. But you're also talking to a girl who grew up very, very poor, and I had ham sandwiches with butter or bologna sandwiches with butter all the time. And I love buttered toast. Jamie's trans. Yeah, Asgardian, you starting the shit. I actually did tell them the whole reason Jesse said yes is I literally could not resist the whole put a tattoo anywhere. But then Jesse couldn't even be mean. So she put the lips on him because, you know, he's a fuck boy, as I think Unicorn was in here earlier. So she put the lips biting the bullet, just because it's just a fuck boy tattoo, to be honest. Yeah, you read the room right. I couldn't do it. At the end of the day, not Jamie, Roddy and Jesse, never gonna work. In fact, the last few times that she's talked to Roddy, she's actually defended both Hugsy and his family. So honestly, James actually wonders if one of the reasons Roddy asked her out is to get at Hugsy. Because at this moment right now, James doesn't know Hugsy's opinion of her, really. Because she's wondering, it's still sticking in her mind when Curtains told her that she should get PC. Which the reason I didn't know what PC was is because to me, PC means politically correct. So when he was saying you aren't going to get some PC, to me it just kept coming up as politically correct. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know what he's talking about because it's not politically correct. So the fact that Curtains went and said that, she shouldn't listen to him because Curtains and James get at each other. But I don't know. I am interested to see how she'll react to the hand. Oh, she's not going to be happy about the hand. Not as in a, like, she won't like him because he doesn't have a hand, but she won't be happy that he doesn't have a hand anymore. She'll probably be upset, and then she'll also be pissed off, which will be interesting if she takes her anger to a level. We'll see, though. Yeah, she won't be happy about the hand. I actually already... I'm, like, playing it out in my head, and I think I already know how she's going to react. Like, I just am presenting it in my head, like him saying that, like, that was the price. She'll be upset, and she'll feel really bad. And then she'll be pissed off, and she'll want to know who did it. I don't know what she'll do with that information. But she'll, yeah, she won't be happy about it. Kern says more of a chance. To be honest, you're right, though. To be honest, like, if we're talking about legitimately, like, an actual chance, Curtains does have more of a chance than Roddy. Because, like, Roddy's just a fuckboy. And like I said, James is pretty sure that it's to get at Hugsy. And the things he was saying about, like, being Hugsy's sloppy seconds and the Netflix and chill, James actually doesn't know for sure if there's still going to be a date. And, like, to be honest, she's not super fussed about it. Because, like I said, she's not sure what his whole fucking motivation was. Yeah, James does. She doesn't lie to anybody about that. I mean, she literally just told her assistant chief that she didn't want to charge Molly with anything because she doesn't want bad blood there. Like, so who knows though? It's a hard thing though. Like, what do you do? I think it's a cool, different dynamic because it's definitely not a solid thing. It's made an interesting character change for James. All right, start running around now. It'll be interesting next time any of you get arrested. We ain't no island boys. Right? I'm gonna see all these clothes that I got. I need to get her some different clothes. As fast as you. Sweet. I'm going to do this because I think I might take James hunting tomorrow before shift or after shift. I'm trying to balance out her civ life a little bit, to be honest. I don't want... I think...
I'd just walk out there, could.
That's stealing.
And she doesn't know.
There we go. I should throw this away. Throw that away. Throw that away. Yeah, I think that'll come with time though and stuff. I think my thing is yeah, well see, and the hard thing is that in the past, even it's not worked out for BCSO and Rangers to be regionally based. So I'm really, oh man. I'm really interested to see if people can actually stick to it. And then the challenging part is for James being detectives is we're going to grow and we may actually get our own department. But right now we're just a unit in LSPD. So then how is it going to come with working with other departments? Because we've kind of written up the SOPs of how we would interact with other, you know, officers, like how they would hand over investigations to us and what investigations we would actually take at what point. But, you know, there may be people that get heads of departments, like in, let's say, like BCSO or something, and they're out of Sandy, and they don't want us to take any of their investigations. So then it's like, okay, well then how do we really work together? Is it that we just have the city and they pull in Sid when they need us? Or do we, you know, or do we do everything? I don't know. There's always something in there. I don't know. Right. Okay. I thought that's... Well, I thought it said someone else. I see what it says, but I'm pretty sure you did that so it wouldn't get gate checked. There's first. Dexter at PDM, right? Oh, hey. To be fair, if Curtin said that in front of James, she would go, sheesh. Because it's true. So funny. Them two at the door. You mean Curtains and Carl? Oh, I loved it. I loved taking the piss from him when I was just like, oh, you want to come in? Somebody not pick you for the baseball team? It was so funny. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing though with the units. There's a difference between departments and units. Hopefully people do it, because the way we see it is that if you notice, most of the pings, about 80% of the pings, happen in the city. So you guys will be doing a lot of quiet stuff, but you do have ones that are up there. I don't know. It'll get sorted. Anyways, it's closing time. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I hope you had fun just chilling. I'm not going to assume that I was entertaining, and I might even guess that if somebody else was streaming that's better than me or your favorite characters, you'd have been watching them. But thanks for hanging out. I had a good time. It was very chill and low energy and just some silly interrogation, a couple of chases. And I'll see you guys next time. I guess tomorrow I'll probably have James in to see if Roddy the fuckboy decides to actually go through with the date. and see what we do with this George Michael thing. And I think I'm going to take her hunting first, though. I think I'm going to start out with some chill hunting with James. And then see what happens next. I think is the road to go. So hopefully. I thought somebody was streaming.
The story of Dracula.
Oh no. I'm too tired. You got in his head he's Star-Lord. Oh god. Star-Lord. Oh yeah, that's right. He almost got a punch for saying the Netflix and chill. So we'll see how it goes. Alright. Okay. I'm too tired. Have a good night. See you next time. Bye.